Hello and welcome everyone to Twin Ring Montegi in the heart of Japan for the eagerly anticipated VRroom.org event. This is a heat race, so no points scored by any of the drivers. More of a demonstration really of the skill from all the drivers at VRroom.org. If you want to be part of this action, please do check us out on the web. Free to join and free to sign up and race. So what can I tell you? The rules for these particular races, these heat races, is it's an 11-lap race round here, one mandatory pit, and no yellow flags will be called, unusually for VRroom, because in the league races they are a distinct possibility. So if you lose it and bin it here, it really is your own fault, and that helps people, really, to be honest with you, behave themselves and race good, fair and hard. So the pit stop can be taken on lap 1 if you have damage, because of course the drivers here at VRroom.org run with full damage, and and then you can choose whenever you want to pit. So strategy can come into these races. So for example, if drivers feel they're being held up, they may choose to pit early or late if they're out front and think they're doing a blistering pace. So it can really mix it up. It's a reverse grid order from the result of the last race, which was held at the Nürburgring. The fastest players there, or the winning players really, are going to start at the back, and we'll go through the grid in just a moment. So before we do, let's just point out firstly that it's Friday the 13th of September 2013, so I hope it's not an unlucky one. But before we do go on the grid walk, we're going to have a quick look at the circuit courtesy of VRDM. So, Twin Ring Montegi East course. There are 3 configurations for this circuit, I believe. One of them is a big ring, hence the name Twin Ring Montegi. And the East course goes underneath that on the Bridgestone Bridge. We're going to be on the chase cam of VRDM in a moment when it loads. So, going round the last corner down the main straight on the chase cam. The BMW Touring Car 320i are the cars of choice for today, so it should be nice and close. A front engine rear wheel drive supporting 355 brake horsepower, and we run with no ABS. So braking hard into the first corner, turning in reasonably late to clip the apex and flick out under the first Dunlop bridge. Going off the road course now up into the east section with the right-left uphill elevation, into a blind right-left flick, which can be taken at full throttle if the driver wants to be really, really brave, as long as you've turned in. It is blind on entry though, it's very, very difficult. Now, this can make or break a lap here, braking just after 100 metres out, turning in, allowing the car to rotate at the back a little bit, and then flicking out under the Bridgestone Bridge. Hard on the gas now for the elevation change back up the hill, to compensate for the downhill at the beginning, sticking to the far right of the circuit before changing down a couple of gears and flicking in hard to the left. Hugging the apexes is the key to being fast here. Now, booting the gas here won't help you until you're almost back on the straight, because otherwise you'll drift wide. A lot of people have fallen victim to that. Hard on the brake here again, trying to get a bit of over-rotation, missing the apex there unfortunately. Hard on the gas now, back down to the back straight. There's the pit entrance on the right. Braking about 50 metres out, turning in, hopefully clipping the apex. Not a bad job really, flicking out wide now, and that's one flying lap of Twin Ring Montegi East course. So now, straight back to the grid, let's see who is where. Okay, so Twin Ring Montegi, let's see how the grid lines up for this first race here. So, P1 and P2 is VR Race 42 and IRT, followed by P3 and P4, which is Jezza and VR Badger, the very competent VR Badger, fresh back from his holidays, may I add. In P5 and 6 then, we have Slicker and the very, very quick Mr. Green, closely followed by P7 and 8. P7 and 8 is VR Stuntman and VR DMJ, the fellow commentator at VRroom. In 9th and 10th place, towards the back of the field there, we have Set Wave, followed by GT Mustard GT, and following up in 11th place is Mr. Breaker himself. So, without further ado, let's get straight to the action here with the race. So we're going to have green lights in a moment, and away they go. So a bit of smoke from the mid-pack there, probably from Stuntman or Mr. Green. These cars look and sound absolutely fantastic. Look at that. We've got 4 abreast towards the back of the pack. But leading into the first corner, we've got IRT from race 42 on the outside. IRT is losing that position, so we have race 42 leading the pack. Absolutely wonderful sight as they go through the first midsection onto the east course. Superb view. 355 brake horsepower in each one of these cars. I don't want to do the sums on that, but maybe I will actually. I'll try to figure out how much horsepower we've actually got on the track in a moment. So fantastic, fantastic. Very, very good to see that first corner away so cleanly. All the protagonists round. So we've got VR Race 42 from IRT, from Jezza, from Badger, from Stuntman, followed by Setwave, followed by DM, and Scalebreaker from 11th is already up into 8th. Absolutely superb stuff. So if we could just see that start again, and I think we'll go on board with Mr. Breaker towards the back, just to see how cleanly everybody got away. So we're on Mr. Breaker's roof cam, and you can see it's 4 abreast going down to the first corner. Very, very dangerous here at Montegi because it's very easy to outbrake yourself. I've been victim to that several times, as people know, but you can see Mr. Breaker just holding back in case that happens, and look how cleanly everybody is round. Well played to all the drivers there, absolutely superb. No contact. It just shows you guys it is possible to do. So if you like the look of that, please get down to the website vrroom.org, and you too can be part of that. So fantastic start by all the protagonists there. So we'll go back on with Mr. 42, and I'll just speed that up a little bit. So we're going down the main straight for the first time. We've caught up with the pack now, still on board with race 42. We'll look at his rear bumper cam now. So following him is IRT, followed by Jezza, followed by Badger, and immediately behind Badger, Stuntman is putting a lot of pressure on Badger there. We've got side-by-side action with Jezza and IRT, so Jezza now up into 2nd place, bit of dust being kicked up there, and meanwhile we've got Badger side-by-side with VR Stuntman, I think, in the background, so we'll have to have a look at that from the outside shot. That's obviously happened. No, it hasn't. So Badger going through on IRT. So it was Badger. Badger has got Stuntman. Badger now up into 3rd place. VR Badger doing a superb job there. Fresh from his holes, down in Bournemouth, I believe. So 4 abreast behind into the midsection. Scale up into 5th. So Mr. Breaker not pulling any punches on the 2nd lap of 11 here. Is doing an absolutely amazing job. Let's remember, guys, he's come from 11th place to 5th. That's a jump of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 places in the space of 2 laps. So Mr. Breaker certainly one to watch. So in the background we've got people pitting in the background, I think. So into the pits we've got VRDM and Slicker into the pits, and IRT into the pits. Currently on board with IRT, you can see the pit crew is working feverishly. So 3 cars here choosing to pit early. So Slicker, DM and IRT clearly feeling they've got a bit of an advantage to gain. I don't think any of them are damaged, so we're on board going out the pits with IRT, and you can see VRDM is just joining in behind. So these boys are obviously got a trick up their sleeve. They feel they're pretty quick probably, and that they were getting held up in the sort of ruckus that can slow everyone down when you're battling. So this could either be a very good move or a very unwise move from Slicker, VRDM and IRT. But they've given, you can see they've given themselves some clean air there to pump in some really fast qualifying laps. So we'll keep an eye on the paces and see whether that's going to overlap them in the pits, and they're going to be able to jump people like Jezza and Badger, who currently are still racing up front with this man here, race 42. And race 42, VR Race, has pulled out a very, very good gap here. A very good gap. In fact, we'll just see what that gap is. See how many seconds we've got. It's a 1.5 second gap is pulled out to Jezza on the last split. A 1.15 second gap, sorry. And the fastest man on track currently is 125, which is no surprise there. It's Mr. Breaker himself, who's now up into 3rd. And you can see him really pressuring Badger here. We'll go on board with Badger, and we've got Scale going down the inside there on Badger on lap 4 of 11. Can VR Badger outbrake Scale? Scale very, very quick, but potentially not the best on the brakes here at VR Room. Although he's done a pretty good job there with the off-camber, but no. Oh yeah, no, he's got him. Sorry, I apologise. Scale is up, so it was a good overtake by Scale. Shouldn't have really made that other comment. He was very good on the brakes. So Badger has dropped down to third. So Scale now is in hot pursuit. Oh, what a shot as all the cars fly around there. Scale is in hot pursuit of VR Race, and I have a feeling he might catch him soon. So in the meantime, we've got Stuntman has nailed Badger going under the Bridgestone Bridge. What a fantastic sight. These BMWs really are the bee's knees in terms of grip and performance. They're very, very good cars. Recommend anybody playing GT5. If you've not got one of these, try and get hold of one. I believe you might have to win them, I can't remember. But try and get hold of one, because they're really, really worth playing with. Now, interesting enough, while I was going into the rules there, as we're watching Badger battling with VR Stuntman, these are not prohibited tune. They're being run at 355 horsepower limit. That's all. Oh, we've got somebody peeling off into the pits there. I have a feeling it may well be, is that Badger or is it Setwave? I'm just trying to find out who's gone into the pits. It's Mustard. So Mustard into the pits. He obviously wants that bit of clean air, because battling hard there was not doing him any good with Setwave and Stuntman. So this could be a very wise move. Now you can see the cars behind. The lead car behind is VRDM. Now will he get out near? Will he get out near Mustard? So I think what we'll do is we'll go on board with the roof cam of VRDM, and we'll look ahead on the right. You might see Mustard exiting the pits, and Mustard's there. Mustard has exited the pits now. DM's got a massive run on him, and DM's got hot tyres. So we may see DM be able to plant one on Mustard here. Although he's just got ahead, I don't know whether he'll make that stick. He needs to be brave. DM needs to take the immediate advantage, really, because he's got hot, sticky rubber compared to Mustard's cold tyres. Because those tyres, and look, he's really close to Mustard. He may well have a stab here, and behind him, remember, we've got IRT and Jezza, and it's IRT, Jezza and VRDM who pitted really, really early. So their plan seemingly has not worked, because they've still got Mustard ahead of them on the road. So Mustard's putting some really cracking fast laps there. DM's still putting under a lot of pressure, but we'll just have to see whether DM's brave enough to attack. Mustard going defensive on the inside there, stopping DM getting past. But I would say his tyres have heated up by now. We're more than 3/4 of the way around the lap. We've got other people in the pits up ahead. So we've got VR Race 42, we're on board now. He's in the pits, and behind him, I'm trying to figure out who else is in the pits. Is it Setwave? No, it's not. It's not Stuntman. It may well be Badger. So it's Badger and VR Raced in the pits. So we'll go on the lead pack with Mustard, and let's see these guys coming out now. So Mustard's still under pressure from DM. We're on Mustard's roof cam, and we'll see to the right of the circuit, you may see people exiting. Down the road there is race 42, and Badger's really lost out. Badger has lost out. He's come out behind those guys. So that's bad news for Badger. From such a reasonably well-placed start position, he's now down in 9th. So a little bit of a lack of pace there, unfortunately. But race 42 has got out ahead, so he's helped to maintain track position here. So we could be on for a race 42, good solid podium, or possibly a win. That's not very good camera shot, please. But we are on board with race 42. Now, how far behind are those guys? How far behind is Mustard and DM? And actually, they're quite a long way behind, so that was a very good opening stint. 5 laps of really quick laps there from VR Race, and he's timed that pit stop very, very well. It has to be said, slightly better than Badger, who has fallen off and into the back of that pack now. So back on board with the leaders, Scale in the pits, and that's closely followed by VR Stuntman staying out to pump in some fast laps. So Scale in the pits. Where will Scale come out? Now he's pitting from the lead, and he had quite a big gap, probably about 20 seconds I would have thought. So he's dropped now off the jacks, and Setwave behind, coming down the main straight. He's not going to be able to see. Oh no, Setwave is in, I apologise. So that must be VR Race 42 coming down the main straight, which it is, and you can see there, that's Setwave joining in 4th place, just behind VR Race 42. So race 42 has played an absolute blinder here. If he can hold this together, he's going to be on for a really strong podium, which would be really good to see from Mr. CD, to be honest with you. So meanwhile now, ladies and gents, on lap 7 of 11, we have a very consistent fellow compatriot commentator, VR Stuntman. heading round the midsection. Now, what kind of a lead has Stuntman got? Let's just have a look. Because he'll have to think about pitting reasonably soon. And oh, has he made, oh, I thought he'd made a mistake then. My hat was in my mouth. So let's have a look at the live timings. So Stuntman is pumping in 1:26.2, so he has a 16-second lead. I'm not sure whether that's long enough to get out in the lead. I think you need about 25 seconds here. But he's doing a good job nonetheless. He's put some fast laps in and he's staying out. So on lap 7 of 11, Stuntman's still leading the race. So meanwhile, 16 seconds down the road, if I can get to him, 16 seconds down the road is Mr. Breaker, followed by VR Raced, and then this massive gaggle of traffic here, which is Setwave, Mustard, VRDM, IRT and Jezza. And in the background there, Badger, Slicker, Mr. Green giving it a good old ding-dong as well. I want to see how fast Stuntman can go though. He needs to pump in a really consistent lap time, and I wonder how many laps he'll stay out for as well. Of course, we get the splits whilst we're racing, so we'll know whether he's losing time, and if he's gaining time, he may well actually stay out for an extra lap or two. He cannot pit on the last lap, so he's got to pit on 9 or 10, so it's going to be this lap or the next two when he's got to pit. You may find it's quite a late one. It's putting in a fast pace. His lap times were down in the 1:26.1s, I believe. Not quite as fast as Mr. Breaker, but he was pumping them in anyway. So let's just stick with him and see if he comes into the pits on this occasion. We'll see him peel off, and oh no, he's lost it! Absolutely unbelievable. We've got Stuntman. He's lost it. He got on the grass on the outside of that the exit of that turn, and he's lost it. But he's back on, no damage. And oh dear, that's absolutely ruined it. He'll probably come out mid-pack, sort of 6th or 7th now. Because meanwhile, look in the background, Mr. Breaker, he's already there at the section where Stuntman came off and race 42 is, and Setwave and Mustard are on it as well with VRDM and IRT in the background. So Stuntman, he'll have to take this opportunity to come in, and indeed he has. So Stuntman into the pits. Now, where will he come out? This is the question. Where will he come out? We're going to go on board with Mustard, who's just coming round. Oh, under a lot of pressure. Just coming round, the jacks have not been dropped yet, so he's way back. We're going to go on Jezza's car, on the roof cam of Jezza. Can we see the exit of the pits? We'll go on the reverse cam, and he's there. VR Stuntman just exiting the pits. Absolutely awful news, terrible stuff for Mr. Stuntman. We'll get on board with him. Ew, I bet he's absolutely killing himself in his helmet there. But it just shows you guys, when you're under a lot of pressure, you're in the lead and you've got to pump in some fast laps. It's not easy to do, it really isn't. Every one of these guys in this room tonight are really on it, and they all deserve a place in this particular website. So well played, but very, very hard luck to VR Stuntman indeed. Very, very hard luck. He was on for a good podium there, I would have thought. So back to the action. Scale. Mr. Breaker has pitted. Everybody has pitted now. There's nobody left to pit. Scale Breaker is out the front. From last on the grid, he's out the front. So he's now doing 1:24.958. Fastest man on track by a long, long way, by a second, practically. His last lap was a 1:24.958, so he's really, really on it. The next fastest guy is GT Mustard on, he's down there as VR Official 1, but GT Mustard on a 1:26.25. And then everybody, oh no, 1:26 dead by Mr. Green. So Mr. Green is flying. Let's give the guy a bit of airtime. He's having a fight in the mid-pack, but he's up into 8th now. Stuntman behind him. So he's got a little bit of company. There's Stuntman just following him. And actually, Mr. Green's by himself. That's probably why he's been able to pump in that really, really fast lap time. So the mandatory pit stop phase is over with. This is probably the closest battle on track, with Setwave and GT Mustard just behind, closely followed by IRT and Jezza, and DM has dropped back. DM is now behind Jezza, a little bit further down the pack. Badger, is he under any pressure from Slicker? No, Badger is by himself with VR Stuntman just ahead, so he'll be trying to sniff a little bit of Stuntman. They're carrying a similar pace, but again, look at that shot, ladies and gents. That's absolutely superb stuff. So we're on lap 10 of 11, only one more lap to go. It's looking like Mr. Breaker will win, unless he does something like Mr. Stuntman did, which is always possible. It's never over till the fat lady sings, is it? So the closest racing is this. We've got Setwave followed by Mr. Mustard, followed by IRT, Jezza and DM. So let's just stay on the back of Setwave's car, who's chasing down hard race 42, it has to be said. And that's Mustard in the background. In fact, we'll go on Mustard's car because the race is a little closer there. So IRT he's going to the inside. Looked like he might have had a bit of a dive there as we start down the start-finish straight for the last time now. We're on lap 11 of 11. So the running order is Scale from VR Race from Setwave, from VR Official 1, which is GT Mustard, IRT, GBS Jezza, VR DM, Mr. Green, VR Stuntman after that, Unlucky, Spin, Badger is in 10th, VR Badger in 10th, and then Slicker following up the rear in 11th. No points scored here, it's more about pride than anything else, but it's also about demonstrating how good the driving really can be when you're in the right class of car on the right circuit with the right people. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we certainly are. And as I'm saying that, on the inside, IRT is looking very threatening on Mustard. Mustard's going to have to really watch himself here, or IRT will be through. And meanwhile, in the background, we've got, oh, right, well, ding dong, we've got Jezza right up the jacksie of DM. DM going defensive, a little bit of move there from DM, from one place to the other to defend the line and try and get back on the racing line. As they're going round, we'll see now coming round for the win. I'm going to have to clip away for Mr. Breaker. Very, very well driven from last to first. Mr. Breaker is the winner of this particular round. So coming round the last time, we're going to have VR Raced from Setwave. As you can see there, coming home for second and third, followed by Mustard and IRT. Followed by side-by-side action as we go across the line for Jezza and VRDM. I've no idea which one's which. I think Jezza's just got it by a nose. Mr. Green follow up in 8th. Stuntman coming in 9th. 10th is Badger, and then Slicker, oh dear, he's over the vegetable patch there. But nonetheless, Slicker finishes in a very competitive 11th place. So very, very well played to everybody. I hope, sincerely hope you've enjoyed that race as much as I did. That was an absolute pleasure. I'll try and bring you another video as soon as I can. If you've liked this video, please subscribe. Whoops, sorry, just pause that there if I can. It's not pausing. Oh, it is. Sorry, I apologise. If you like that video, then please do subscribe to the YouTube channel on the whatever device you're watching. It would be greatly appreciated. So I've been Dave Higgins. You've been great. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.